Hi guys, welcome back. As you guys can tell from the title, we're going to be doing the 24-hour reading challenge. You guys know I love to film this. It's a way for me to have some dedicated time to read. I have not been reading a lot over the past 2 months. This weekend I have zero plans and I was just like, I'm in the mood to read, let's do a challenge. So I'm going to do this over 2 days like I normally do. I use the timer method. I set a timer on my phone for 24 hours and I only pause it when I need to sleep. So I'm going to do 12 hours today, Saturday, and then 12 hours tomorrow, Sunday. That's kind of how we're going to go. So I have a very FT juicy TBR for this video. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to be reading a lot of new releases. So books have been released over the last couple of months. Actually, I think most of the book I'm going to read were released April or May, which is like new releases to me, and I've just left in the back burner. I've just not had time to read, but now that we have the free weekend, I thought let's tackle it. So I'm just going to list the books we have on deck. Normally when I do these videos, I read between 3 to 5 books, but because I'm quite rusty and I've not done 24-hour reading challenge in a while, and I feel like let me just not overcomplicate things. The point of this is just to make sure I'm reading for those 24 hours. I'm not really putting too much pressure on myself to read like, I don't know, as many books. As long as I get to read consistently over the next 24 hours, this would be a success for this challenge. But I have a very FT and very ambitious TBR for this one because I have a lot of books I'm excited to read. So the first book on my TBR is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the last book in the Powerless trilogy, and just understand how the entire trilogy ends. I've seen a lot of videos of people literally crying, and I'm so afraid that Hayden and Kai are not going to be endgame. The second book I want to read, which I don't think actually came out in April, I think it must have earlier in the year, I'm not sure when it came out, is Summer in the City by Alex Aster. Alex Aster is the author that wrote the Lightlock series. You guys know I enjoyed that book, that series. It's a fantasy series, but this is our first take on the romance genre. This is like a billionaire romance. I feel like this would be a nice palate cleanser. So I have a mix of fantasy and romance in my TBR. I'm a heavy mood reader, so the more books I have on my TBR, the easier for me to reach for any book but know what mood I'm feeling. Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. This one is my most anticipated one because this came out on Tuesday the 13th of May, well 4 days ago now. Third and final book in the Skyland series. Each book in the series are standalone books, and most of them are about second chance romance. This book is about Hendrix. She has been the biggest personality in the first 2 books, so I'm so excited to read this. And I saw like a little blurb. I think this is actually going to be a forbidden romance. Like, oh my god, I cannot see how that's going to play out. So I cannot wait to see how it's going to play out. Great Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is the Emily Henry release for this year. It came out in April. I hope it's interesting because I love Emily Henry. So I just, you know, Emily Henry vibe. So this is going to be a good one. The Condition of Will by Jesse Hastings. Jesse Hastings is the author of the Magdalene Park series. This is the new, I think, standalone book. And again, I've heard really great things about this book. Everyone that I follow, they all had such high things to say about this book, so it's got me even more excited to read this. Good material. This is not a new release, but it's on May TBR, which we picked together a couple of weeks ago. Basically about a guy that's trying to get over his breakup, like a long-term relationship. To be fair, I have a good mix. I don't think I would need that much palette cleanser because I only have like 2 fantasy books in this. The next book, which is the last only other fantasy I have, is Silver Elite by Dani Francis. Okay, so this book is this is the latest TikTok sensation. It's a new series, so this is the first book in the series. I think it's a dystopian fantasy series. I was very intrigued to read this because I just finished reading the Hunger Games series, which you guys know I loved to my core. Those books, the Hunger Games series and the new one, Sunset of the Reaping, which, guys, that book tore me apart. My soul is still like broken from that because I had such a good experience reading that. I'm very intrigued to read another dystopian book. The thing about this Silver Elite is that it's got such mixed reviews. People are actually like battling each other on TikTok over loving or hating this. For this one, I'm excited to just find out for myself where I fall in. Do I like it? Do I hate it? I don't know why I'm starting a new series. I have enough series. I don't know. I think I'm having some kind of FOMO. I don't know. Wildfire by Anna Grace. So this is the second book in the Maple Hill series. I've read the first book and I've read the third book, but I haven't read this book. Even though I have a lot of incomplete series, this one hurts me the most because I just feel like, because it's the second book in the series and I've read the first and third book, it's just like it just feels very incomplete. It's like really disturbing my mind. So I feel like I need to read this. So I have 8 books on deck, but majority of my reading I'm going to be doing on my trusty keyboard. I feel like I read a lot faster on my keyboard than on books. Book like this, as I'm turning the page, I can physically see how much I've left, so kind of, I don't know, it just has this weird effect on me, so I read a lot faster on my keyboard. I am going to start by reading Fearless because again I've already started it. I've read, like, I think I'm on chapter 6, but I think I'm going to start from the beginning again because I just feel like I just want to start again. According to my keyboard, this book is 506 pages. I feel like if this book is as emotional as everyone said and I'm whipping after and I'm crying, guys, I'm definitely going to need a palette cleanser. I am starting this reading vlog later than I wanted to, and it's 10 o'clock because I woke up late. I just needed to sleep, and I'm happy I slept because now I have so much energy. But I need to eat first, so I'm going to make my breakfast, have that, just reading. Right, timer on. Right, I've been reading now for 50 minutes. Oh my god, I want more caffeine. I'm gonna need a lot of caffeine. I've only been reading for 15 minutes, I'm already yawning. I am reading a lot quicker. I'm now on page 83 and I had to pause because it seems like Hayden is going through another trial. In the first book, she already went into a trial. That's kind of how she and Kai met. And now they're gonna put her in another trial. It's very interesting because they wanted to go into another trial to prove that she's worthy to be their queen, but I'm like, but she's already been in a trial, so why does she have to do it again? I'm very confused. That's why I am now, but I just want to pause it and think about that. I'm very confused. One thing I'm gonna say is that this book is starting off pretty slow, which is why I've paused here, because I feel like now with the trials coming up, things are gonna pick up a little bit because it's gonna be like a trial, so it's gonna be more challenging. I hope the trials are better than the trials we saw in the first book. I think one of my criticism I made when I read the first book, Powerless, is that the trials, even though they were trials, they didn't feel like trials to me. They were quite soft. I'm thinking about like Hunger Games kind of trial, like, you know, fight to death kind of trial. This trial is meant to show, it's meant to be done by the elite who have this amazing power. None of their powers were showcased. Like, they told us about what they could do, but I feel like they didn't showcase the power a lot. I would love to see what they can do. So I'm hoping the trials in this is a lot more fun and we can get to see the powers a bit more. Let's carry on reading. I'm still reading Powerless, guys. So I am now on chapter 28 of Powerless. Oh my god, guys. So with this book, I'm just gonna be checking in. You guys know, I'm trying to get myself back into like this reading vlog. Done it in a while, so bear with me. So I'm on chapter 28. In this book, we're getting Peyton's POV, Kai's POV, and Edric's, who is their father that's dead. We're getting his POV. I've just read a chapter 27, which is what's in Edric's POV. I remember saying to you guys when I read Reckless, because we found out that the guy that Peyton thought was her dad is actually not a dad, so she doesn't know what her parent is, and I feel like our parentage is very, very important. For some reason, I have a feeling that Edric might be her dad. So does that mean Kai is her half brother? Like, is this book becoming like an incest or something? I don't know. That's kind of where this is leading. So it's either Peyton is actually a princess, because when she was born they found that she was an ordinary, she had no powers, and then they ordered the guard to kill her. Sorry, the spoilers. What I just read right now, I might have just got the answer to Peyton's parentage, and I'm just very confused, because if what I'm thinking is true, and if this is who her dad is, this book just got strangely weird. I don't know. I think I'm wrong, because there's no way it would be right, because then we're moving towards like incest here. I'm gonna carry on and I'll let you know if I'm correct or not. This is my theory. I was right. And if I'm right, that means that Peyton cannot marry Kit. They are related. Oh my god. Okay guys, but I finished Fearless. I'm just happy I finished the book. For me, oh my god, I've not done that nowhere else. I'm gonna say some things about this book. I think it's gonna be very unpopular opinion, but this book felt a bit flat to me. I think because I expected so much from the final book, but then I think about it, I don't know why I expected so much. First book in the series was the best book. This could have been a duology, and Abina's story could have been whipped into the trilogy as a side story. We didn't need 4 books, but we know it was the publishing money, and that's kind of why we got it. That's my first note on this, because a lot of this book, Fearless and Reckless, a lot of waffling that had nothing to do with the plot whatsoever. And I feel like towards the last maybe 50% of this book, the author was trying really hard to just make things fit, because she's waffled on for so long. Now she has kind of like obviously make things make sense, and I feel like that's why everything was a bit rushed. I'm happy I read it, because now I finished the story and we can kind of get the conclusion. I was very disappointed in how things ended. A lot of things didn't need to happen, and I feel like if this book was planned properly and plotted out properly and not waffled so much, things would have made sense. I've seen a lot of people online saying that Lauren Roberts has been accused of plagiarism, like she's plagiarized the author of The Red Queen, and I think The Selection as well, basically got ideas from them, even though she said those were inspiration. I feel like, oh, I'm gonna say it's gonna sound, I told you guys it's gonna sound very, very unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna say I feel like this book was written for people on BookTok. Don't get me wrong, I get it, I'm on BookTok as well, I love BookTok. I feel like this book was written specifically for the hype. Our marketing team, our publisher and our marketing team did so well pushing these books, because a lot of the promo, like big book influencers promoting this book, a lot of that pushed people to read it. And for me, obviously, when I read Powerless, then Powerless was my second fantasy book I read. The first one was obviously Fort Wayne, and then this. But I just feel like now I've read more fantasy books, I know that this book is actually quite weak. So that's kind of my thoughts on this book. Obviously, I had some theories when I was reading like things about like patience, parentage and things like that. I was right on some of it, like I was on the right track. Once I figured that part out, and at this point, this was like 40% into the book, when I figured out what the plot was, I was just like racing to the finish. One thing that I did read, I read a part of the book, and just that part just came to my mind, like, oh my god, she just stole this idea from Hunger Games, obviously because I just read Hunger Games and it's still fresh in my mind. There was a scene where she had like mutated bats and a mutated creature for the trials that Peyton had to go to, which again, I added nothing to the existing plot. It was just pages of words, and I'm so happy I did not buy Fearless as an ad back. I don't need physical copy of that. I might actually sell the books I have, to sell them, so you can go to a home that they will be loved. So I think I'm going to rate this a 3-star. Painting and car were endgame, which was another weird, it didn't feel right, even though they were endgame, it just didn't feel right, because I feel like this author kind of did Kit dirty, because Kit did not need to be a villain. I just feel like it left a very, very bad taste in my mouth, what she did to Kit. After that whole plot unraveled, I was just like, oh, this just sounds very like grasping at straws here. There was no need for you to make Kit a villain. And I think from then it just went like, I just couldn't be bothered anymore. I don't know why I've just said that. That was just a little bit of waffle I didn't need to do and become Lauren Roberts. Joking, JK, like I'm joking. Not really. We're done with the Powerless series or Powerless trilogy or whatever, but that's it. So it's now 6:20. I really want to try and squeeze in another 5 hours of reading before I go to bed, but I want something soft and easy to read. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. That's our next book we're going to read. Bedroom now because I just want to get comfy. But as I spoke to you guys earlier, I have started Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, so I'm making good progress. This book really reminds me of Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's because of the format, getting one person's POV, main female character Alice. So she is a journalist and she's basically competing with another guy who is a famous writer. They're both competing to write, I'm assuming, the memoir of this really fabulous famous woman called Margaret. She's from like a old money money, generational wealth kind of family, and there's been so many like tabloids like written about them, like gossip rags and things like that about them. But she wants to kind of set the record straight and talk about her family. I guess they are now both going to be spending time with her for a month, trying to get a story, and then whoever she trust the most is going to get a job basically. But then there's also a romance between Aiden and Alice. This is a true grumpy sunshine. Alice is a true sunshine, like literally she's making friends with everyone, she's always happy, always so chipper and things like that. So I am enjoying this. So we're going to get like two stories in parallel in a way, because we're getting a story and we're getting a story reading a story. So I'm very intrigued to obviously understand Margaret's family. I don't personally, me, I don't like to date people that do the same job as me because of the competition. Like, I swear to God, people's egos and people like competitiveness and things like that, you don't want to be having that kind of business competition with your partner, like romantic partner. I just find it really weird. Okay, so I am now going to just sit here and just read for the next 2 hours, and already I can feel my eyes are closing, like I'm feeling kind of sleepy. Good morning guys, good morning. It's Sunday today, and now we are now on day 2 of our 24-hour reading challenge, and I literally think I timed it perfectly because I went to bed when I finished Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I finished that late last night, and now we have 12 hours and 19 minutes left on the clock, which is great. So we're literally halfway point, even though it's quite late today. It's like 12 o'clock right now, so I have to read till midnight. I'm gonna have to sleep late, go to bed a bit late tonight. But we have read 2 books, which is great. Like, I feel great about that. Great Big Beautiful Life yesterday, and guys, I don't know, I couldn't decide if I want to give it a 5-star or 4.5 star. Right now it's on 4.5 stars because I thoroughly enjoyed it. The way the plot shifted at the end of this, I did not expect it to go that way. I had so many theories running in my mind when it got to a certain part, but that part I didn't see that twist coming, and I was so heartbroken for Alice and Margaret and, you know, her family, and even Aiden. Like, I was just so, like, the last 10 chapter of this book got me to my gut, to my soul. It was so good. I think I'm gonna mull it over. I might check my rating later, but for right now we are having it as a 4.5 star. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm so happy I read that book. I mean, Henry never disappoints. The romance between Alice and Aiden was so cute. It's like so lovely to read. Like towards the end, like their love dedication for each other was just got me. Like Aiden was such, even though it was grown, was such a same for her. Like, I love that. You guys know I love when the MMC is obsessed with FMC, and I got this here. And Alice bubbly personality was just, I really enjoyed this book. It was such a nice, fun, good vibe read. I'm just gonna start Can't Get Enough by Kendi Ryan. I'm ready to read that book now. The last, I think it's the last and final book in the Skyland series. Each book in the series are standalone books, and we follow 3 friends basically. So we get a love story for each friendship group, and now we have Hendrix, and I know her book is going to be special. She is giving like rich auntie vibe. I love it, and she's so funny. I just know this is going to be so messy. This is going to be so messy and so good. My expectations are like through the roof for this one, and I hope it doesn't disappoint, and I know she won't disappoint anyway. I've actually decided I'm not going to pause the timer today, because according to this, it's saying 1 a.m. in the morning. So I'm not stopping the timer the rest of the day. If I do stop the timer, I'll be reading till 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not having that. So we're not going to stop the timer today. So I am still reading Can't Get Enough, Kendi Ryan. I'm now on like chapter 15, and this book hasn't disappointed. Like, it's so nice to read this because we've got like such a superficial, I guess, view of Hendrix's character in the first 2 books, So it's quite nice to get a little bit more about her life. So this book follows Hendrix. She's our main female character, and Maverick, main male character, and he is a millionaire. So this is like a millionaire romance. Hendrix business partner. So she's in this business venture with this lady. I think her name is called Zaina or something. They have like they're co-producing a show together or something. So they're like kind of business partners in a way. Her ex-boyfriend is Maverick, right? But Zaina is quite possessive of Maverick because she's obviously she didn't want to break up because she could trap him in a way, like make him like change, like force him to have a baby when Toda never wanted a baby or something like that. And so it doesn't work out between them. But I have a feeling that Zaina might be a little bit of a bitch. Like signs and shit that she's a bit of a bitch. Like the way she spoke to Hendrik in this scene I just read not long ago, I'm thinking she has like tendency of being a bitch. I feel like we're gonna get more of our toxic energy. So that's why it's a bit of a forbidden romance, because it's like a friend's ex-boyfriend or something like that. I don't see it because it seems like she and this woman are just business partners. I don't think it's a red flag, but I feel like maybe because it's too soon. Because I think basically they broke up, and like literally the same day they broke up, Maverick messaged her and stuff. So she's trying to keep it above board. Nothing's happened between them yet. The cover of this book has a quote from Abby Benez. Kennedy Ryan is my go-to for deep, emotional and sensual storytelling. When I saw Abby Benez, I'm like, oh my god, that's it. This is why I love Abby Benez and Kennedy Ryan. The way they write their love stories, it's giving like real life shit, real life situation. Okay guys, just finished Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I'm reading very slow, I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy with this challenge because I've read more books these 2 days than I've read all of April. So for me, this is an achievement. I'm so happy about this. I really enjoyed this book. This book did not disappoint, and obviously is a nice conclusion to the Skyland series or the friendship group. So Yasmin, Soledad and Hendrix, they're the three friends that make up each book in the series. They have their happy ending now, which is quite nice to read. But I really enjoyed Hendrix's story. Again, I think because I just read Say You Remember Me a couple of weeks ago, the FMC in that book, her mom had Alzheimer's as well, and Hendrix's mom has Alzheimer's. When I first read it and I saw that, like on the first page, I was like, fuck, do I really want to read this? Because Say You Remember Me, that really upset me. Like that really, like, not upset me, but like that really got me my feels, because I was just imagining like, oh my god, obviously you think about people in your life as well, like, oh my god, I don't know why I would do something that's happened to me. Like, you just pray nothing like that happens to you. So I wasn't sure I was going to be able to read that, but I was actually fine, because I should have trusted Kennedy Ryan the same way I trusted Abby Benez. They made me write her because those stories were important for the story and for us to know about, and obviously the romance was still there. So I feel like out of all the characters in this series, I think Hendrix is the one I kind of related to the most. Like, I feel like I have a bit of a kindred spirit with her, because especially with reading this book, like, she has a close friends that are moving on with their lives. They have like a happy relationship, have their kids, and they're going in the traditional like route of life, but she's actually a woman that's chosen not to go on that traditional line of life, like, you know, choosing to kind of focus on what she wanted, a career, and not wanting children, and making that as a choice, not like something like it just was forced on her. So I think for me, I really love that about Hendrix. I got a hint of that from all the other books, but this book, obviously, when we learn more about her story, I kind of felt more with her. So I really enjoyed this book for that, and I think Maverick was the best fit. This book is actually like an instant love, like instant romance, in the sense that the first time that they met, there was a connection between them. They kind of knew that they had something. If you don't like instant romance, maybe you won't like this, but the instant romance is just that they had instant connection. They weren't just like jumping into these bones. It took a while for them to kind of start dating. I think I do love Maverick as an MMC. I feel like Hendrix waiting so long, she's 40, to find her person, a romantic partner, like she didn't settle. I'm going to rate this a very, very strong 4.5 star. Actually, I was going to make it a 5 star. Actually, yeah, let's just make it a 5 star because I really enjoyed this. I'm just going to call it 5 star because I love the vibes. It was quite nice. thing to, I took my time reading this. I didn't rush it. I was like, oh my god, I don't want this book to end. So I was like reading it slowly so that it doesn't end, because I knew that was this last book in the series. If you read the first 2 books, you're not going to be disappointed, because it's a good thing that book was last, because it gave us so much anticipation. If you haven't read the series yet, now that the series is complete, you can actually binge it. They are very, very interesting. Kenny Ryan does a research. He talked about like sensitive topics in these 3 books in the series. But the second book was talk about autism, and then I think in the first book it was a lot on grief, like a mom losing a child and things like that. So there's like sensitive topic, like important life things that are happening in each book, but I think she handled them really well. Okay, so now it's 7:30. I need to make my dinner. I just realized, did I even eat today? I did eat. Someone that ate? Yes, you ate. You had 3 meals, babe. You had 2 meals, babe. You ate. I'm gonna make my dinner, and I just want some chicken wings. That's what I want for dinner. And if any of my friends are watching this, they're probably laughing, because I eat chicken wings a lot. That's like my go-to dinner. If I can't think of anything else, I just eat that. So I'm gonna make myself some wings. I'm gonna do a quick marinade, pop them in the air fryer, change, and then I think I can finish this book tonight. Hi guys, it's now Monday, the next day, and we've come to the end of our 24-hour reading challenge. So last night, I don't think I showed you that much last night, but I did finish Summer in the City by Alex Aster, and we now have 16 minutes and 57 seconds, and we read 4 books. Which I'm actually quite impressed with myself. I didn't think I was going to read that much, guys. You don't understand, I've not been able to kind of read for a long time. I keep telling you guys this, but having this dedicated 24 hours was just perfect. Let me give you my thoughts on Summer in the City. I'm going to rate this book a 3.75 star. I would have rated this book a 4 star, even a 4.5 star, but towards the end, the female main character, she really started to annoy me. So let me just go back. So this book is a billionaire fake dating romance. Our main character, Ellen, is a successful screenwriter. She's in New York for the summer to write a next summer romance movie, basically, but she's having a writer's block, so she feels that she's in New York, that would help her. And then our main male character, you guys know what's new here, Benita can't remember the name of the characters of the book she read yesterday. Yeah, so Parker is a tech billionaire. He's just about to sell his massive like software company or whatever, but he's also taking the summer off, blah blah. I think maybe 2 years before this book was set, they met at a nightclub and they had a brief moment that just didn't become a moment, and she's been thinking about him for 2 years. Basically, she can't stand him because of what he did to her that night or whatever. So it's kind of like a soft enemies to lovers kind of thing, but decides to fake date because basically the movie she's writing, she has a list of places in New York she has to visit, and it helps Parker goes with her, and then he also needs someone to like pretend to be his date in the summer when he has to go to all these fancy events. That's one of the deal they made. But I feel like this book is actually a love letter to New York. We saw a lot of places, a lot of like key spots, restaurant, parks, and key parts of New York what I highlighted in this book. So that's quite nice, because if you're familiar with New York, I've only been to New York once, but if you live in New York, I bet you can kind of relate to this. But after like I think about 90% of the book, there was a third act breakup, and that really pissed me off. That was when I was just like, oh my god, Ellie, you need to get a grip. Like, what the actual fuck? Like, she's a tough cookie, which I love a tough cookie. Like, she made Parker work really hard for their romance or whatever, so she wasn't just like a doormat. But at one point, there's a line between being difficult and just being annoying, and that the way she reacted to it basically gave her this gift, and I think she overreacted a little bit, and the way she reacted just put me off. I was like, oh fuck. So she really ruined the book for me, that ending. But apart from that little thing, which I think is a personal issue of my personal preference of mine, I did enjoy reading the book. As I said, it's a nice summer read, like it's nice summer. If you haven't read it yet, you can leave it as a summer read. It's quick to read. It's only like 250 pages, so you can get through it quite quickly. It's a good page turner. I love the secondary characters and things like that. I really enjoyed it, but I feel like because what really pissed me off happened towards the end. It left a weird taste in my mouth, so I'm just gonna rate it 3.75 stars. But I just feel like Ellen was kind of very like she was like almost anti-men or anti-rich men or something. I understand because I don't know of her background and stuff like that. And also the first impression she had of Parker as well wasn't that good. Kind of solidify like her issues with rich men or whatever. But at one point I was like, come on, give the guy a break, like Jesus Christ, come on. So yeah, that is the end of the vlog. As I said, I'm very happy. I read 4 books. We started off with Fearless. You guys know it was a bit of a disappointment for me, and then we read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emil Henry, which chef kiss, and then we read Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan, again another amazing read, and then we finished off with Summer in the City by Alex Aster. So yeah, very successful reading vlog, I think. So I'm gonna have to leave you guys here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and say hi in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.